believe in yourself? Huh? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? You believe in yourself, yeah. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you?
Thank you guys for tuning in to the 24th episode of the Manny Hall Show. I have Riccole White here. He does real estate. But you know what? Talking to him right before the interview started, I learned so many other great things that this guy's doing as well, man. So y'all gonna learn about some of that today. So tune in for future episodes. Go look at the past episodes. Make sure that you subscribe to the Manny Hall Show. Let's get it in. Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm pretty good, sir.
Good, man. Tell the people what your name is and what you do.
My name is Riccole White. I'm a real estate investor, but I'm a carpenter. I started off in carpentry about 12 years ago. Started doing carpentry. I'm a licensed home inspector. And just whatever real estate brings to me, that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. So what made you want to get started in real estate from the beginning?
I always had a passion to build since I was a child.
Okay.
Always building things and creating things, and I always wanted to own my own business.
Gotcha.
And I never had a desire to work for no one. And it's like I was always good with my hands.
Yeah.
So it just fell in line.
That makes sense. So were you that kid that taking apart the VCR and putting it back together?
I was that kid, and I was also my grandmother. She was a seamstress. She had all these fabrics in her closet, and I would take the fabrics and I would make ties. That was my first company. I was 12 years old, and I started making ties for a choir.
Wow, that's dope. So grandma was like, she put this little bug in your ear and said, man, you can be creative. And
you can be creative with anything. I come from a line of entrepreneurs. My grandfather was a hat maker and a shoe shiner. Okay. His father was a hat maker and a shoe shiner. And just the lineage of my whole family, we always created.
Gotcha.
So it was just in my blood.
I love it. So what's the story behind the story for those that don't really know the story behind the story? Because I know there got to be one. Because you're such a brilliant guy, man. Like, as again, we was talking before this interview started, and you was telling me even about this table right here, that you made this table. And I'm shocked because I'm thinking you didn't went into IKEA or something and got it. And y'all, the man told me that he made it himself. So tell me more. Let's talk.
Well, personal or business?
Personal, business,
personal,
wherever you want to start. Okay.
Life didn't start off so great.
Okay.
At the age of 12, I started selling drugs, which led me on a 20-year spree of selling drugs, back and forth to prison. I probably have 100-something counts of felonies. I have 4 convictions. Altogether, I did maybe like 5.5 years of my life in prison. My first prison term, I was 18 to 20, so that was a very humbling experience right out of high school. Yeah. Got 2 years in prison. It was a life-changing thing. But it didn't stop me. Because I still had an addiction that I didn't deal with. Yeah. I still didn't have the right surroundings to help me to heal from that. Yeah. Because even though I didn't use drugs, I was still addicted. Gotcha. Addiction comes in all forms. So that's something I had to learn as I got older. And just thank to God. And my first step was, my last entry was 2008. I did a year. I got out 2009, and I ran straight to the church. Gotcha. I ran straight to the Word Church. Had a lot of friends there. Pastor Bernie, he was really preaching the Word where I can understand. Gotcha. And I embedded myself in the church. I became instantly involved in ministry. I worked security there, and I worked the children's area for about 5 years straight. And I just bust my ass. I built my company. I bought my first home when the market crashed in 2009, and just renovated it on my own, man. Just as I made money, went there and started renovating it. And 10 years later, I have rehabbed over 500 units, or been involved in over 500
Say that
sales.
again.
10 years later, I have been involved in over 500 sales.
500?
Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes.
Wow. Go ahead.
And from there, just a little backtrack on that. I started with I started working for companies. I worked for 2 investment companies in 2009 when I got out of prison.
Okay.
That was around when the market crashed with real estate.
Gotcha.
Where homes were being sold for $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
It was a disaster, but it was also opportunity.
Yeah.
Because disaster equals opportunity.
Yeah, say that.
So 2009 was it was a bad year for our housing market, but it was a great year for people to become wealthy. So it was the start of something that evolved into creating a lot of people becoming wealthy that don't even live in our state.
Wow.
So when I first started, I worked for a company out in Florida, and I ended up rehabbing like 120 homes for that company. And then I tried to go back on my own, but God said I wasn't ready. And then he introduced me to another company in New York where I ended up doing almost 200 homes for them.
Wow.
And then I was ready to go on my own. So I've been on my own for like 4 years now where I haven't worked for anyone. Specifically what I do is I purchase real estate in the inner city, I renovate it, I put tenants in them, and then I sell them based on the yield of the rent to investors, offering returns like 11.5% to 18% return.
Gotcha.
Because Ohio market is one of the #1 markets where you can buy low but get high returns.
Gotcha.
So that raises the attention of people all over the world. We have clients as far as Israel, Turkey, Japan. We have clients all over the world that come here and spend their money on
coming all the way over here to Ohio.
People see opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate with us Ohioans. That we walk past all of these properties, we walk past all of these opportunities, and we see them as nothing.
Yeah.
But people that don't even live here see it as a gold mine. And I have literally watched hand-in-hand people that came from New York, Florida become millionaires in less than 5 years utilizing our real estate.
That's deep. That is deep. Okay, so you got into this real estate game. You started doing that. You flipped 500 properties, which is crazy in and of itself. So once you got on your own, did you experience some challenges?
I experienced some challenges. It was a little fear set in because I was making great money with these companies. They were paying me very well.
Yeah.
So it was a little fear, but I just believed in God.
Gotcha.
You know, I just believed in myself.
Gotcha.
And I just believed that if I was able to create these homes and renovate these homes for these people,
Yeah.
and all it took was for me to make the money, I can do the same thing for myself.
Gotcha.
So versus me working for them and them paying me a salary, I can renovate the homes and I can make the money.
Gotcha.
Because what was happening is I would make about $5,000 a home, and then they would make $25,000. So I was creating these people a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, over time, and I made decent money as well, so I can't complain. But at some point, it's like that other 25, I felt like I was cheating myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was cheating myself, because these people were from out of state.
Gotcha.
They wasn't from here, and they wasn't trying to give us anything. They wasn't trying to show us the way. They wasn't trying to express how to find buyers from out of the country or any of that, because they knew what they had. These were specifically hedge funds, and they would go to different countries and raise money and come back here with maybe $500,000, $1 million, and buy $1 million worth of real estate. So that's what kept me working over the years. They would raise the money through hedge funds and then come back with that lump sum of money, offering those investors, 10%.
Wow.
And they get their cut. So they was making hand over fist money.
That's a pretty good setup for them.
It was a pretty good setup. So it's like, if they can do it, I can do it.
And it makes me think about this, and y'all bear with me because this is probably a shameless plug on my part. But, I wrote one of my books called No More Discounts, Realize Your Worth Within Relationships. And this example that you are explaining is like, there are so many other instances within our life, in relationships, business, that somebody else will see how valuable something is within us or around us. And we never take the time to really understand the value and worth of it. But because they see it, They take full advantage of it while we sitting back and only getting a little bit of the profit.
And that's the key that they don't want to give us.
Yeah.
How to become wealthy.
Yeah.
It's okay when we're working for them, working under them, but the real key is how to really become wealthy, how to work for yourself, not for someone.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. I believe that sometimes our system is designed for us to work for other people.
Gotcha.
But that's not what other cultures teach or other people teach.
Yeah.
They teach their people how to run a business. Not to work under a business, but run a business.
Gotcha.
Not to be an employee, but be the owner.
Yeah.
And that's a different teaching.
It is.
You know, because one thing I always tell my kids, one thing is going to happen. 30 years going to pass. And somebody going to become wealthy off of you. And what side are you going to be on? Are you going to be the one that's going to become wealthy by working, by being an owner?
Yeah.
Or by being, I'm sorry. Can you cut that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. One thing that I've learned over the years and what I teach my children is 30 years will pass. And when those 30 years pass, someone will become wealthy with your hands, with your skills, with your time. And you have to decide, is that person going to be the owner of that company you work for, or is it going to be you? Because even if you go to prison, they make $37,000 a year off you.
Wow.
So 30 years, somebody is going to become rich off of you. So it might as well be you. And that's what I try to teach my kids, and that's what I believe in, no matter what. I don't have a high education. I have a GED. I went to carpentry school for 2 years. But I just believed in myself no matter what. Even with the felonies behind me, I never allowed that to be a blockage.
Yeah.
I never allowed that to stop. Even when doors were closed. Doors get closed now because of that. Because of my skin color, because of my background, because I'm not part of a frat, or I'm not part of an alumni, or I don't have a master's degree. You know, but I have this.
Yep.
Something that God gave us all.
That's it.
That's all we need.
That's it.
That's all we need. God placed everything in front of us. He placed everything inside of us. And that's one thing about my book. And I didn't even mention.
No, where's the book?
Oh, wow. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah, if you got the book, get the book. We need to talk about that too.
I'm currently a new author of a book called Real Estate Mind. And I wrote this book out of passion, wanting to educate my people, or educate people, or just share a part of my life and my experience.
Yeah.
Really letting people know that whatever you think of and whatever, no matter what, you can do it.
Yeah.
I believe that I am a witness of that.
Yeah.
I'm a witness that whatever I think of, I believe I can do it. When I was 18, I said I'm going to be an author. And now today at 37, I was 37 then, I'm 38 now. Now I'm an author.
Wow.
And I'm currently writing my second book. And this book, it's 12 chapters, a quick read, and I'm gonna create a series of Real Estate Mind. So it's 12 chapters. 6 chapters is about how to start your business.
Yeah.
And then the last 6 chapters is about personal development.
Gotcha.
Because what I believe is anybody can make money, but what creates wealth is what you do with it.
Gotcha.
So I can give a person a check, or I can put money in a person's hand, or I can give a person an opportunity, but if they don't have this, it would never turn over to wealth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my book, I talk about 2 separate things, rich and wealthy, in which there are 2 different things. Rich people go broke because they buy things that don't have value or that don't get a residual. Wealthy people have bad seasons, and they go back and see how to get their numbers up because they invested their money right.
Yep.
They saved. They did things right, and that's the system that I believe in. One of my greatest authors is a gentleman named Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book about the money makeover. So one of my great friends gave me this book about almost about 7 years ago. He gave me this book. He said, "Man, this is a great read." And I never even finished the book.
Okay.
I took certain pieces out of the book, and it was so impact with knowledge I had to physically do before I even finished the book.
Yeah.
And he had these pieces that I would never forget. He said, if you live like no one else, you can live like no one else. And if we don't understand that, what that means is if you can sacrifice like no one else, meaning that you don't have to have the greatest fashion clothes, you don't have to have the nicest car in the yard to feel like something. If you can live like no one else, comfortable in your own shell, comfortable with saving, comfortable with going without, you can live like no one else.
I love you. You preaching now, dude.
I followed that strategy. And with that strategy, I was able to buy this home that I stand in cash.
Cash.
Because I followed that strategy. When all of my friends had the nicest cars, they had the nicest clothes, the Gucci, all of that, looking good vacations. I was driving a work van for 7 years. And I saved my money the best I could and took care of my children.
Yeah.
And I talk about that in my book as well. And it was, some moments where my kids will be affected because I would pick them up in school in my work van. But I always told them that don't nobody know your sacrifice. So be comfortable with your sacrifice because your return is going to be great.
Say that.
So that's what I always instilled in my kids. And I showed them from the time when I didn't and the plan when I said I'm going to save my money. And then from the time where we're in here, when this house was just a shell and I renovated it with my own 2 hands.
Wow.
So it's just to show you that book, that Dave Ramsey, just that one quote changed my whole life.
Yeah.
And it inspired me to do many things that I do now, which is the start of writing my collection of Real Estate Mind books.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, Jack, it's a great read. It can be picked up on Amazon. I have a website, realestatemind.net. You can get it on. You can reach me on social media, Golden Key Investments, and it's linked on there. So it's a great read, and I encourage you to read it, and encourage you to reach out to me and ask me any questions. I'm very open, I'm very humble, and my goal is to help. My goal is to help, and it was like and I meet so many people from all parts of life, and I believe people are put in your life for certain things. So God will put people in your life to give you a little word, to give you understanding, to run the course.
Yeah.
So maybe about 4 years ago, when I was telling a current author, he's a real estate he's a real estate mogul in Canada. His name is Sunil. He wrote a bestseller book. He was on Oprah, and he told me, he said, "Don't make it, then write the book. Write the book, then make it." He said, "You got to dream first."
I love that.
The dream comes before the success.
I love that.
But dream is an action too. Just because you live it out in your mind, you have to start living it out physically.
That's it.
And when he told me that, he encouraged me. And another thing he instilled in me, he said his goal was to create 1 millionaire in every state of the United States before he died.
Wow.
That impacted me so much. And he understood the value of giving and the value of the receiving.
Yeah.
So that right there stuck on me to where I wrote that in my book. And I entitled it, that impacted me so much that I end up writing that in my book. And I use the scripture in the book and where it talks about, where God talks about how to reproduce. My guy in Canada, and he gave me the idea, understood that giving was the most important to your success. And that reverted me back to a scripture in the Bible. Actually, it's Genesis 1:28, and I quoted it in my book on page 60. And it speaks about, it says, "And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it." And those words stood out to me. Fruitful, multiply, replenish, and subdue. Those words stood out to me as being the completion of success. Fruitful, and I speak about this in my book. Fruitful is your God-given talent. And God said, take your talent and multiply it. So whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, learn how to multiply that. And he says, once you learn how to multiply it, learn how to replenish it, invest it,
Yeah.
save it, give back. And once you learn how to do that, he says subdue. And subdue gives you dominion, control, respect, key to the city. And then you continue that cycle and start all over.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when he told me that said that's what God is telling me to do. It's whatever he gives me. It may not be people becoming millionaires, but maybe 6 figures, 7 figures. I don't know what God has in store, but he's telling me that whatever you have,
Yeah.
learn to give it. And when you learn to give it, it opens the door. It gives you dominion. It gives you respect. It's that peace that we all miss.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we learn how to develop our talent. We
Yeah.
learn how to make money,
Yeah.
but we never give. And we understand why we always like this.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Why life is always back and forth. Because we haven't completed the circle. So after we learn our talent and our gift, we learn how to replenish, and then we have to learn how to give
Yeah.
back. And that's the completion, and that's the piece that a lot of us miss.
Yeah.
And really that's the most important piece. Because the only way God can work is through us, people. Exchanging currency, exchanging information, exchanging love, energy, whatever it is. That's the only way he can work.
Yeah.
So he said you have to become a master of giving. And when you become a master of giving, you have opened up the key to creating wealth.
That's it.
And that's what I put in my book on page 60. So
It definitely seems like a great resource.
that, man, just certain things in my life just stick out to me, man. It's like God just put people in my life for a moment or forever.
Yeah.
But I always get something.
So what motivates you?
Oh, man, my past. You know, and my children, man. I lived a rough life. You know, man. You know, humbly, I tell people that I don't like to shield my past or nothing, so I express it because it may help someone. Man, our house was broken into, with my family in the home.
Oh wow.
You know, being shot at, you know, being robbed, and just those things. And
Yeah.
my life never got taken.
Gotcha.
But I watch people around me, same scenery, same circumstance, and their life was taken.
Wow.
And for some reason, my life was always spared.
Yeah.
So it was like God was always protecting me, but showing me he had me no matter what.
Gotcha.
And that's my fuel. So even when I'm down, or even when I don't want to get up, or I don't want to move, because I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Because this business can make you want to quit sometimes. But
Okay.
just the love of that, and just knowing where I come
Gotcha.
from nothing.
Gotcha.
You know, that's what fuels me. And then my children. I was in prison for 2 of my children's younger life, you know, as they were growing up. And
Yeah.
I can see that I missed something.
Gotcha.
And I'm trying to, you know, get it balanced now. And thanks to God that he covered them while I was going through what I went through. But they are, you know, my foundation.
Gotcha.
You know, I breathe for them. It's like, you know, whatever, I go without for them.
Yeah.
And that's what motivates me, man.
Gotcha.
You know, and then my people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just looking at us as a people, man. We are the #1 consumer. We spend over billions of products, but we own none of them. So we're not reproducing what we putting out. So
Yeah.
it's not poverty. It's a lack of knowledge.
Gotcha.
And that's what I feel that God has put me on the earth for, to share the knowledge, because the knowledge is what a transition and remove the poverty. You know, and I feel that's what he has put on me. So every opportunity I get, you know, I try to speak, I try to share. I'm writing books, I teach at schools, You know, I recently taught at community college.
Nice.
I work with some other people. Then we about to be traveling and doing some coaching and stuff like that. So my main goal, man, is to just to not just my people in general.
Yeah.
But I love my people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like because that's my environment. That's where I grew up. And when I ride past these, you know, these poverty areas, I see myself. When I see these young men standing on the corner, I see a reflection of myself. And if I had someone to just give me a little bit of knowledge and a little push, you know, I probably wouldn't have made all the mistakes I made. But sometimes God put people through that to prepare you for where you are now. Yeah. So I understood nothing was a mistake. But so I feel that I can help some of those young men, as well as women or anyone, you know. But I feel that's my calling because I can relate. I can understand when people don't understand why they stand on the corner or why they get so caught up in that and thinking that illegal is legal, you know, or this, you know, we're living in a wild, wild west state now where, you know, killing people is the way of fighting, you know, but people don't come back from death.
Right.
So it's like my passion, man, is to help our teenagers, help our youth, man, and just help them change their minds because they're this millennial group that's growing up, man, they geniuses. And all we have to do is direct them to utilize their gift and put them in position because sometimes we don't make it because of lack of knowledge. Yeah. That's why the first thing when some of us get money, the first things we get is a hair salon, a barbershop, a car wash. Not saying those things are bad because those things are great. But why we not making toothpaste? Why we not creating toothbrushes? Why we not doing other things like that? Yeah. Why we, you know, so it's only because of lack of knowledge. Yeah. You know, lack of exposure. Yeah. Because those things are a part of wealth. But we're because of a lack of knowledge, we only surround ourselves by what we know, do only what we know. Yeah. So we like in this box. But it's this whole world outside. And this wealth, millions all need to be made outside of that bubble that we created or that we're scared to jump out of or that we just comfortable in. So, you know, not to just, you know, run off, but those things that's where I'm at. Those things are my passion. Yeah. And that's what fuels me.
I love that. I love that.
I answered that.
Yeah, you answered it. You answered that correctly. So, you know, soon we're going to get out of here, but just had a couple more questions for you. You know, one being is, with this passion that you have, is it fueled by anything else than truly helping people?
Say it one more time.
So this passion that you have, is it fueled by anything other than just truly, genuinely wanting to see people succeed?
And me not wanting to struggle.
Gotcha. That's real.
You know?
That's real.
I didn't sleep in a bed till I was a teenager.
Wow.
So, like, just thinking about that, you know?
Yeah.
I find myself sleeping on the couch now because I'm used to it.
No, why was that? Just growing up, times were hard?
Man, it was a house full of people.
Gotcha.
You know? So you had to, you know, find your spot on the floor and get you a cover and a pillow.
Gotcha.
You know, and call it a night.
Gotcha.
You know, and get up and do the same thing again. You know,
wow.
So that was my life. You know, and when you in that, you know, it's the normancy. Yeah. You know, so that's how I grew up.
I love that.
So you know, just not wanting to go back to that place or seeing my children be in that place. Yeah. So that you know, that's what fuels me.
Gotcha. So what advice would you give to some of these entrepreneurs that are trying to get started, whether it's doing it in real estate or some other field? What advice would you give them?
I would say first, purchase my book.
Okay, absolutely.
But you know, in all fairness, I would say find whatever business you in. Find one area that you're great at, and become tunnel vision with that one area. And once you get that one area in order where it's generating money, that's your foundation, then you build out.
Gotcha.
I found a lot of people, I've done it myself, Well, we have these great ideas.
Yeah.
We have these great opportunities, and it steers us away from what we're really good at.
Yeah.
So we never really reach our full potential because we put in 20% over here, 20% over here, 20% over here, and so forth. So we never really reach our full potential. So I say, starting a business, just focus on that one thing that you're good at.
Gotcha.
And then build off of that. After you done built it up, created a residual, created a consistent money coming in, a stream of money coming in where you can hire people. Now you have a function, you have a piece that is functioning on its own.
Yeah.
When you sleep, when you're out of town.
Yeah.
Now you can take your time and energy and put it into something else.
Yeah.
But we will never reach our full potential if we doing 3 or 4 things at the same time.
Gotcha.
Because you can't be great at all of it.
That's excellent advice. I love that. All right, so we're going to get out of here. I really appreciate all your time. Any final words?
I would say, man, thank you for reaching out to me, man. And, I got another book upcoming. It's called Real Estate Mind,
Yeah.
the Millionaire Edition. So look
Awesome.
out for that for the summer.
That sounds good.
We're doing some great things. I'm partnered with the Real Black Friday movement, so we're going to be doing some great things for the kids. Next month, we were supposed to take 200 kids to see the Black Panther movie, but because of entrepreneurs in our city that's just given, we're able to take over 300 kids in counting. So it's going to be amazing. So
That's dope.
There's some great things coming for this summer, man. 2018, man, I feel it's going to be a blessing for everyone.
It is, for
Just
sure.
find your purpose and stay in it.
For sure. How can I get in contact with you?
You can get in contact with me. My business line is 216-673-7825. You can reach me on Instagram at Golden Key Investments, on Facebook at Golden Key Investments. You can inbox me. You can ask me any questions, man. I'm open. It don't matter. No question is too dumb, or don't never be ashamed to answer, because those are the ones that are important. Because you don't know.
Very true.
So if you have any questions about real estate, don't be afraid to reach out about starting a business or helping with a business plan. If I got the time, or I can assist you or steer you in a direction, that's what I want to do.
All right. Now, my last question is, since you said that no question was dumb, and I appreciate that. What's the golden key? How'd you come up with that?
Man, about 15 years ago, me and my wife was sitting there, and my thing always said I'm the key to success. And my wife said, well, you the golden key to success. So that's how I started Golden Key Investments. It started like that, just in the bedroom, just talking.
Yeah, that's
and my one slogan, I always said, I'm gonna be the key to success. And she put the golden behind it, and I just been rolling with it ever since.
I love it. All right, yo, we are out. Thank you so much for your time, bro, man. You did an amazing job sharing so much great information and your wisdom, man. Y'all be blessed, man. Show. We out.